Hi, I'm Gio, the leader of the Animation and Figure Drawing Club, and today I'm going to be pretty much giving you a little lesson about how to animate kind of like a putty liquid type of movement. Pretty much, you're going to want to start out with like a random basic shape. I kind of started out with like a weird plus sign, and from there you're going to want to kind of make it flow. Make sure you have 2 layers as well. I don't think I'm going to be doing the second layer with you all today, but what you would use the second layer for is the final product. So you would make a rough outline of your sketch that you'd want to do on the first layer, which you can see becomes the ghost for the next shape that you do. Oh, whoops, I put it on the wrong layer. I'll erase that real quick. But yeah, make sure you don't do that. I would suggest that the second layer, you turn it off until you're finished your sketch. But yeah, you pretty much just want to create a shape that flows naturally, and the second layer you would use to make a solid shape. So for example, I'm not going to be showing this part, but once I were to finish all the shapes that I decided to create to make this look like it's flowing or like putty-like, you would color it in solid or, shade it or however you'd want to make it look complete, and it'll look like a flowing shape. The line is usually just a basic outline, like a sketch, a rough sketch. The way you want to make sure it looks like putty in a sense is you have to think of it as it's not getting bigger and it's not getting smaller as you lengthen the bits and pull on it. So when you decide to stretch it more, you have to leave some space to show that it is stretching and not getting any bigger. As you saw just now, I didn't trace the thing exactly and then just made it longer. I made sure that it looked like I was pulling on a certain part. So as you can see here, I'm starting to shorten it again, and you're going to be pushing it back down, so you're going to be having a bit of a larger lump at the top because you're pushing that down. Think of it as a sense of gravity, or if you were to be pulling on putty, you would have more in your hands if you were to squish it together than if you were to just stretch it out. And another thing I would suggest is, while you are drawing, try and just see what comes naturally. I didn't really plan any of this out. I'm just kind of, drawing as I see fit, letting my pencil do the work for me. I'm going to bring it back down into a circle, just so I can give you guys the example of how it comes back down to the same mass as it started, even though I did start technically with a weird shape. In a sense, you can still condense it down to what would be, for example, you rounding out your Play-Doh or whatever. And when you are doing animation, you do want to give yourself some room, some leeway. Don't get frustrated if you mess up a layer, or if you just realize it's going to take forever to get this finished. It's going to take a lot of layers, so it is very time consuming, and that's part of the reason why I'm probably not going to do a completed animation with you guys, but yeah, I think this one will probably come out to maybe 20 layers, 23 layers, but yeah. Oh, and as you can see now, I'm pretty much just going to make a circle several times, because the longer you want a frame to stay as it is, the more you have to draw of it. So, for example, I want the circle to stay for a minute so that when you're watching the animation you can register that, oh, it's condensed down to a circle. You're going to want to either lengthen that frame or draw the circle a few times. That way it shows on the screen longer, because keep in mind, all these frames are 0.1 second. It takes about, I don't know, 12, this is 12 FPS, so 12 frames per second. So it'll take 12 frames for 1 second of an animation. So, for example, if you wanted to make a story, you'd probably be doing about 600 to 900 frames for a smaller story. And it is very hard, but once you get yourself going, usually it becomes fun. I definitely would also suggest to you to find a platform that makes it easiest for you. This one that I'm using right now is called Flip-A-Clip. It's something we use in the club because it's free and it's pretty much very easy to use and learn. It's good for your first program. But if you're thinking about going to be more experienced in it, you want to have more features, more layers to work with, I would consider maybe Adobe Animate, or maybe even using Procreate. Procreate obviously is not necessarily an animation platform, but you could like export it onto iMovie, which is something I've tried before and it works pretty well. But yeah, I think I'm going to condense it down to a circle one more time, maybe even make it a repeating pattern, by putting the first frame that I started with, that weird plus sign that I was talking about at the very beginning, and kind of stopping it there so I can turn it into like a GIF or GIF or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, the way you would do that is you would copy and paste the first frame back over here, which is this one now. You copy and paste it, you put it back at the front, and then you're going to pretty much try and make the circle that you have back into that shape. But you're not going to make it exactly back into that shape, you're just going to have it one frame before that shape, so that when it does repeat, it looks like it's naturally flowing still, and it doesn't like stop in the middle for a second. Because if you remember, as we said earlier, if you were to have a frame multiple times, it lasts longer. So as you can see, we're going to draw like a weird circle, and you're going to want to try and make it almost the same shape. That way when it's flowing, it looks more like it's still going and you're just playing with it forever, basically. And it doesn't stay still for a minute, because it's kind of like a giveaway when it repeats if you have something stay still for a minute, or it doesn't repeat seamlessly. Oops. Yes, this program I'm not quite used to, so you can't move the frames. But you can always copy and paste. See, no need to worry about mistakes. Mistakes happen, and you just have to, deal with them as they come. And try not to get too stressed about them, especially when it comes to animation. And this will probably be roughly my last frame for this. And yep, here's a completed, rough draft of the putty animation that we've worked on together today. And it was super simple. It only took me 6 minutes. It's really fun to try. And here's a little animation I did just to kind of give you guys an idea of what animation can do. I did a little person, and I feel like I was just going to show you this to show the possibilities of what you can do. And I hope one day you decide to try animation for yourselves. And to that, I say goodbye!